fly and all of that. Long before they even discovered the West Indies. So Rome was mainly the Middle East, as we call it now. And Constantine converted to being a Christian, and he decreed that, so he would be like the president of the US, that Christianity would become the official religion of Rome. But they already had a holiday, which was around the 25th day, the shortest day of the year, which was being used for the worship of one of their gods. And the Christians of the day, along with Constantine, agreed that they should just take away that day from them, right? Since it was already a popular day for worship, right? They just take it away from them. And that is how the 25th came to be. But what is more important at what day Jesus was born is that he was born as man, and that he walked among men, and that he taught, and that he died, and he rose to the dead, and not from the dead, and all of these things are historical facts. And that today, Christianity I think Christianity has now passed up the Muslim religion as the largest religion. I would have to check the facts now, because when you go to Middle East, Africa, and all those places, Muslims by the billions. And then you have the Asian countries which are into other forms of worship. Then you have agnostics. But I believe Christianity is the fastest growing religion, and maybe the largest. And this book, the Bible, which has the biblical faith, the Bible is coming under, like a lot of debates now about Genesis, Genesis and science. For instance, science, one of the things, if you read Genesis, is that Genesis has two accounts of the creation story. And so people will argue about whether Genesis is one book or two books, or when was it written and who wrote it, and a lot of debate. How can you say by the biblical account the earth would be 10 million years old, 10,000 years old, but science is now proving that the world is 2 billion years old at least, So sometimes science, and I was talking to moms, and you got to understand that our belief is based on our knowledge at the time. I'm telling you, 100 years from now, homosexuality will not be a problem. It just will not be a problem. Alright? Because science, would have been able to explain it. Are you with me? Maybe 30 years from now, science will discover that there's a homosexual gene. And that instead of two sexes, you really have 3. Maybe 30 years from now, science will come up with a cure for homosexuality. Are you with me? And everybody will behave like man and woman. And a lot of things are just based on our knowledge at this time. What we got to do is hold on to the word of God that says homosexual man and woman together is an abomination. Are you with me? You just hold on to the word of God. But realize that our knowledge, even as Christians, our knowledge is limited by what we know at a present time. When the Bible was written in the time of Jesus, everybody, I don't know about Jesus because he's the Son of God, everybody who lived at the time of Jesus thought the earth was the only planet. Did you know that? Every single individual, they would stare into the skies and they would see the star. Even Aristotle drew pictures. He born 500 years before Christ. He drew pictures that look like spacecraft today that would predict that man would fly. And they would reach out, but they didn't know what was out there. When Jesus was born, everybody believed the earth was flat. It was not until the 1600s that a man named Galileo made the first telescope and looked into the sky and saw that there were planets, that the moon was big as the earth. And guess what? Although it was one of the because in those days religion run everything, right? And they say he blasphemed. So truth is truth in the moment, but the gospel is truth forever. Forever. But I don't believe you should use the gospel to try to argue against science. Are you with me? If you ever bring the gospel into confrontation with science, you would have missed the essence of it. Right? So when the Bible says, and God made heaven and he made man, and he made man in his own image. If science really proves that there is something called evolution, you don't have to now think that God looked just like you. Are you with me? It doesn't make the Bible a liar. Alright? It doesn't make the Bible a lie. It's an amazing thing, boy, I tell you with God.